Our planet Earth is an amazing place. It is our home, but right now it needs our help. All around the world we can see the impacts of climate change. There is no doubt that human activity, which drives fossil fuel emissions, is causing a climate and environmental crisis. Temperatures are rising faster than ever before due to carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere being at their highest in 2 million years. We know that the use of coal, oil and gas in industry, agriculture, transport and other sectors has caused this crisis. And we know that we must reduce global carbon emissions if we are to slow global warming. But until now, not enough action has been taken to protect our planet Earth and everyone who lives here. Those who contribute the least to causing climate change are often the people most affected by its impacts. In recent years, we've seen more frequent extreme weather events like flooding and heat waves. In Africa, Central America and parts of Asia, this extreme weather is causing food shortages, water scarcity and displacement. People living in developing countries like Guatemala and the Democratic Republic of Congo contribute very little to global emissions. However, the average person in Ireland and the UK contributes a much larger amount. Ireland's carbon emissions per person are 246 times higher than the DRC. Extreme weather caused by climate change affects everyone, but not equally. It is having the greatest impact on countries that do not produce a lot of carbon emissions and that have fewer resources available to adapt to these changes. This is an injustice. We know the climate crisis is happening, but what can we do about it? There are 3 ways for us to address the climate crisis: through climate adaptation to weather changes brought about by the crisis, climate mitigation to limit the progress of climate change by reducing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and climate action to limit the damage the climate crisis will cause in the future. The time for action is now. Storm surges, floods and strong winds can cause a lot of damage to communities in vulnerable areas, so it is important for people living in these areas to be prepared. This can be done through improved flood defences and setting up effective early warning systems. In many countries around the world, farmers are adapting to changing weather patterns. In Malawi, while access to water remains a serious challenge for many people, new approaches using solar-powered water pumps for irrigation are helping with climate adaptation. To limit the progress of climate change, we need to reduce harmful greenhouse gas emissions to keep global warming under 2 degrees. The current global economic system is built on fossil fuel consumption. We know that this is not sustainable and leads to the destruction of ecosystems, loss of biodiversity, and has negative impacts on people's livelihoods, homes and health. We need a system that is more in balance with nature. If all sectors of the economy move towards a more sustainable approach, it is possible to slow the pace of global warming. We can create a future where our way of life is more sustainable, where we reduce waste and where the amazing ecosystems on our land and in our seas are protected. Whatever measures we take, they must be sustainable, protect the rights of individuals and communities, and work for the common good of everyone. If we are to solve the climate crisis, it will take a global effort. Governments, corporations, communities and individuals all have a responsibility to act. Richer countries who consume a lot more fossil fuels must commit to reducing their emissions and to financially supporting countries who are facing the worst impacts of climate change. Fossil fuel companies need to take responsibility for their role in this crisis and put the welfare of people and the planet ahead of profit and growth. Everyone should have a voice in shaping a more sustainable and fair future for our amazing planet Earth and all of its people. All over the world, people are demanding immediate action to reduce carbon emissions. You can be part of a global climate movement, working together for a more just and sustainable future for everyone. So, what will you do to take action for climate justice?